Great. Yeah, of course, we in a course on motivational techniques, we'll get into the praise and recognition and the rewards, and some that cost money and some that don't. But you know very well what you can and can't do. Benchmarking, I mean, that's really why I brought the SIA story in here. And of course, we could talk about Ritz-Carlton and all kinds of other quality companies that exist here. But benchmarking, why not learn from the best? It makes good sense. We can avoid a lot of mistakes, we can save a lot of money, we can learn from the best. They have a recipe. You heard about it today, and of course you could read about it in the chapter that we provided for you. The point about mistakes, after the coffee break, I will, which is in 5 minutes, after the coffee break, in case you were wondering, it's in 5 minutes. I need to show you a couple of things first to keep the schedule. But I will prepare a very short clip from Carl's on mistakes, on risk-taking, because it will address this issue that you've put on your presentation. So thank you. Okay, the people side of your business. I mean, these are the people, your internal customers, and of course, your external customers. What are your challenges? Well, you have lots of challenges. Of course, competition, sustaining your competitive advantage. This is one of the toughest ones. You heard about that. I won't repeat what Nitin said, but this is a hard one. Next one, retention of talent. And you know, there's a saying, people don't leave companies, they leave managers. Take care with that. Be as good a manager as you possibly can. Keep your talent. In the region I live in, there is a frequent change of employee with good companies just for small amounts of money. And when you see them a few weeks later, a few months later, how's it going with this new A company? And they say, well, it's okay. I said, what do you mean just okay? You left another A company to work for them for money. He said, you know what? It wasn't worth it. Take care. Money is not a great reason to leave a company. And even sometimes a manager is not a good reason either, because that manager could change. But what you have to do is play a part in the retention of the talent, because you've spent a lot of money to get them and train them. So retention. Another challenge you have is that there's a better educated workforce. What does that mean? They need more challenge. They need the work to be meaningful. Otherwise they will walk. They will go where they are appreciated and better treated. So appreciate the workforce is better educated. Make the work meaningful. I got that from Carlson, and I like to repeat it, that work needs to be meaningful. People want to have work that they understand has a contribution to the overall strategy of the organization. Okay? So try to do what you can. Engineer it the best way you can to make sure the work's as interesting as possible. Another challenge, and I put them all up now, is people development. Now, people development, of course, is typically about training, about development of your people. And you can't always develop them in everything. You can't give them every training course they want. So sometimes you, as the group said earlier, mentor and coach internally. So there's external training, but there's also internal training. And I would suggest, and I believe, that you have that role too, to train your people and develop them through your expertise and your experience. There's a high cost to bad customer service. I don't have to tell you that. I think we've established that, or you knew that well before you walked in here. And it's direct and indirect, and I think it's the indirect that causes the biggest problems because we can't see it often. But let's look at the direct. Handling complaints. Now, I was brought back from Holland to Sydney after 4 years as an expat in Amsterdam, back to Sydney to be passenger relations manager. That has a cost. They never had one before, not full time. So they hired me, or they allowed me to come back to Australia and do that as an interim basis. So there's a cost involved, me handling complaints. And of course there was an ongoing cost of not only handling them, but actually processing and then making payments, okay? Then the cost of returns and refunds. We had some refunds. Then there was also the cost of legal action. We had to hire a solicitor. I guess some of you have lawyers. You call them lawyers or solicitors here? Both. Okay. Advocates. But you had to hire them. You have to ask for their counsel. And then, of course, you have to do corrective public relations. And you've seen that on a big scale with some companies over the years. But the indirect is a loss of sales. And that is really the indirect one that you don't always see because they don't come back. And it's the silent people, the ones who don't voice their complaints that we worry most about. And then, of course, those that they're going to tell as well. And then, as I said earlier today, it costs 6 times more to attract or to get a new customer than to retain the existing one. And then the loss of opportunity to expand or to improve our business. So there's a high cost, which brought me to this exercise I thought we should do. It's called value of a customer, the true value of a customer. Because it's easy to say, well, that customer is valuable. But you know, how valuable are they? I sometimes think, or like to think, well, what would it cost? And I had to do that in that position. What does it cost to get another customer? Or to lose this one? It's quite a lot. And the customers will say, I'm worth a lot of money to you. And when they say I'm worth a lot of money to you, think about this. So I need help with this.